Good day, you beautiful people. Welcome to LAZADA's Tech, where we do tech in your life, in style, and we are flipping out. It's finally time. You just watched our quick unboxing of the Samsung Z Flip 5, and we have the phones in two beautiful colors. But before we move on, let's take a closer look at these phones. Okay, so this year Samsung's hero color is actually this mint flip, but obviously you know me, I am loving this pink one. And before you correct me, yes, I know that this isn't actually pink, this is the lavender version. It really still looks pink to me. And to prove my point that this looks a little bit more pink, let me show you guys the colors side by side. So this is the mint flip. This is the powder blue phone, of course. You have the Razr Viva Magenta. And this phone, this is supposed to be purple. This is the purple or lavender OPPO N2 Flip, lavender Z Flip 5, and for comparison, a pink Xiaomi device. And as you can see, this phone looks more like the pink than it does the lavender. Point. Now, we are getting a glossy back on these phones this year, and that's not necessarily new because last year's Z Flip 4 also gave us these glossy backs. But I gotta be honest, I am missing that matte finish that I got with my Z Flip 3. And yes, to refresh your memory, I did get the pink Z Flip 3. It was a website exclusive color and it came with a black trim. And that specific phone is still my favorite pink Z Flip compared to this lavender pink phone or last year's gold pink phone that also wasn't very pink. That being said though, I still think that this is a cute color, whatever this color is, even if, again, I still wish that it would be a little bit pinker. Now the thing with these new phones and with that new cover screen, so if you're looking at this phone from the front, you really won't be able to tell which color it is until you see the back. And I mean, you could say that the bumpers are sort of matching the phone, but you really only notice that when I put the two phones side by side. And if you look at them separately, sort of can't really tell that's like a purplish border. Either way, same colors or no, these Z Flips now have a distinct look to them, but they still sort of feel the same in hand. It still feels like a very sturdy phone. You are still feeling that hinge that can basically stay at different angles depending on how you'd want it. It's still also not supposed to be, you know, flipped out that way, but I still did it. And despite this new hinge, it still very much really feels like the same phone. Like, if I close my eyes, I wouldn't be able to tell that this is the new Z Flip from the old Z Flip, because of course I wouldn't be able to see like the fact that it has a bigger screen up front. But yeah, this new hinge means there is now no gap, which if you look at it from the side is a very noticeable difference from the old Z Flip, which, yay Samsung, finally, and unfolded to a Z Flip user. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I did use the Z Flip 4 and the Z Flip 3 as a daily driver for a while. And like I said then, and I'm saying again now, you don't really notice the crease when you're already using these phones on the daily. With that in mind, let me just say that I still feel no difference with the new hinge unfolded. There still is that slight crease. I still do forget it when I'm using the phone unfolded anyway. So the main thing about this phone, the great big display, it's nice and responsive. We'll take a tour of what that does a little later on. You have your 2 cameras up front and a flash. Of course, Samsung branding up here. On the right, you have your volume rocker, unlock button, fingerprint scanner, and of course, one of the main things that this phone has been touting, that new hinge. You don't get a gap, and the bottom of this phone has your USB-C port, speakers. Other side gives you that SIM tray. Unlocking the phone, you get that foldy screen. And well, from this point of view, really, it's basically very similar to the older flip experience. You get speakers up here, you get that camera in screen, and of course, that longer phone form factor. Always so satisfying. So how this works, tap to touch, you get that screen, swipe to the right, and you get your widgets. Of course, we're definitely seeing that you're getting more functionality from this thing. And this is what I love, absolutely love about this bigger screen. For example, Ayana sent me this message, and I'm not gonna show you what she sent me, but from here, it gives you quick replies, and you can preset this, by the way. Or you have a QWERTY keyboard, and that's actually typable. Meaning it is tiny, but not too tiny that you don't get to type properly. If you have bigger thumbs than I do, you can also just tap to type. Hello, I'm sending this via my cover screen. That's amazing. And send. Ayana's gonna get that message. Definitely quick reply, definitely that QWERTY keyboard. That's something I've been wanting on the flip. Good job. What's great is that this also works on other apps. So for example, I just got that notification, swipe to the right, and I can reply on IG without even opening my phone. Thanks, Ayano. You get the idea, you guys. So like you've been seeing, you swipe to the right and you get really big notifications. I like that. And then you can see these dots over here. It shows you where you are in the menu. You get your calendar, you get calls, alarms. I need the alarms. You get timer, you get steps, smart things. There's also all these cool apps. So for example, I love this. You can now watch YouTube on this teeny tiny screen. Now, I don't know why you would. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna hate and they're gonna be like, why would you watch YouTube on the teeny tiny screen? But I am definitely someone who would do that. It's pretty cool. Look at that. Cute. Aside from YouTube, you have WhatsApp on here. I haven't signed in. You also have Maps. And specifically for this app, I absolutely love it because imagine traveling and walking and just not having to flip open your phone as you navigate your way through this unknown terrain and experiment and adventure. You get what I'm talking about. Now, of course, for these apps, they are under cover screen labs. And it does warn you that these apps might not work as expected, but you just saw like 2 different apps working and they look just fine. Honestly, I'm just happy that it's a possibility now without installing any other app that forces it on the cover screen. Now, my favorite thing to work on this phone screen cover, if I can figure out how to do it, it's Spotify. So if I decide to play something, and no, there will be no audio because I don't want to get copyrighted, it will show me the same thing here in that cute little widget at the corner. And you can also tap that and it'll show you what song you're listening to, the cover art. You can move forward, you can favorite the song, you can shuffle. So I like this. Now, of course, with this form factor come many different ways to use it with your cameras. My favorite flip phone skill. And we will talk about all those different form factor iterations you can shoot with, but that comes a little later. I want to show you what this phone looks first side by side with all the different other flip phones in the market. Of course, this is the side-by-side that you guys have been dying to see. So we have the Samsung Z Flip 5 and the Moto Razr Plus. Basically, the 2 phones in the market competing because they have that full cover display. As you can see, there is a difference in implementation between the 2 phones. The Razr Plus gives you camera cutouts and that full square. The Samsung Z Flip 5 gives you sort of that folder look. I would say that the Razr Plus is a little bit more round feeling when you hold it in hand. So those edges edges are actually tapered front and back versus the edges that are flat on the Z Flip. Side by side, this is how they look. So the Razr Plus is actually a little longer and just a little bit thinner. From this angle though, they look very similar, although the sides will show you those tapered sides on the Razr Plus versus the flat ones on the Z Flip 5. And the back, of course, you get that textured back on the Razr. And this is how the bottom of both phones look. Of course, these two phones also implement their cover screens differently, which is quite interesting. And let me know if you want a full-on comparison between these two phones. Anyway, let's look at them unfolded. I mean, again, of course, the Razr Plus is a little taller and a little thinner. And this is what it looks like. Ooh, wait, scrolling through. There you go. Now I have two other flip phones here. This is the OPPO N2 Flip and the Huawei Pocket. Obviously, they both have cover screens, but now very, very tiny compared to the cover screen of the Z Flip 5. And here they are all side by side for your viewing pleasure. That's not in the mix right now. There is a folding phone from Vivo, but unfortunately we do not have that in studio, so we move on. Right, let's get to the cameras. So it's camera tour time, and to fully commit to the whole flex form factor, I'm gonna be shooting with a flip, and this is what we look like right now. Again, shooting with a flip. Let me show you. You can actually turn on the preview, so this is actually Flipception right now that we're doing. So what you do is you can access the camera from here and you swipe to the right, you get portrait. My background just blurred right there. You can adjust your blur here and then swipe to the right. That's a photo. Can you like zoom in? Oh, there. Zoom out, zoom in. Not to my pimple. That's very wide, 0.5, and you can zoom in up until, wait, I'm getting confused. There, 10x for photos. And what's up here? You get your different settings. So it says tap screen to shoot on. Oh, interesting. And then you get video as well. You have your super steady mode. Oh, that cropped in. And you can also shoot wide videos. This is full HD 30. Oh, stop! No, I'm not trying to shoot. I'm getting so confused shooting this way because I can't like tell, but I will say really quickly. First off, this is very convenient because I can flip this around and it's propped up on the table. And just to show you, give me a second. So this is what the setup looks like, and because I've been sitting down, this is not the best angle. I just switch it and there you go. Easy. Right, back to our camera tour. I got distracted. Right, so this, where were we? Tap to take videos. That's very convenient, but I need to stop doing that. I keep getting confused. So video, we have, this is wide and you can zoom up until 10x as well. And I wonder what resolution you can shoot with a cover screen. So I guess that's full HD 30. From here you can also do gestures. And then preview the photos you just took. And I wonder what this does. Oh, you can switch resolutions from here. So it depends on how you'd want to shoot your video. If I want to shoot a cover screen TikTok, I can do this. Wait, let's try it on. So if I wanted to shoot, let's say, a TikTok with a cover screen, you can do that. If I wanted to shoot a YouTube video with a cover screen, I can do that too. Anyway, this form factor is pretty nice in that if I decide to shoot this way, you can. If I decide to shoot this way, just like how I'm shooting this whole video, you can. If I, for some reason, decide that I want to dangle my phone at the edge of some table, you can. And that camera is so easily like reachable. Press double tap this and you can just get to it. It says here I can touch and hold to move the shutter button. So if I do this, I can move it to the other side, hold the phone here and tap for a photo, but let's say I want it here. That works too. Now when we unfold, cancel, you get that selfie camera now. That, let me show you. That selfie camera, we were against the light, so I fixed it. Now you get wide. Can you zoom in? No, you cannot. You get your portrait selfie. You also get a wide. You get your video. You can shoot full HD 30. Oh, you can shoot 4K with a selfie camera. I wonder why you can't shoot in 4K with a cover screen. But anyway, let's move on. We have more. All the different features. These are not new features we've seen on Samsung phones. Now I wanna go to the rear camera if it changes. Oh, Ayano, I can see Ayano editing at the back. Ayano, say hi.
Hi.
So random, like. But anyway, from this back part, I can show you that you can shoot Ultra HD and you can zoom up until 10x as well. And then you also have a super steady mode. You also have 9:16. You also have all the different settings here. Now, I'm not gonna go as in depth as I usually do with my camera tours because there's just so much from these phones and like all the different types of ways you can shoot. But let me know if you want to see a camera vlog test. Maybe I can talk about that more. Or maybe on a social media test. Let me know. In the meantime, here are some really quick sample shots from today. All the flip iterations that I have since covered, the Z Flip 5 is probably the most significant upgrade that we've seen since the Z Flip 3. And the Z Flip 3 was the pivotal moment when Samsung decided they were gonna put a bigger screen up front. I am specifically loving the added functionalities that this bigger screen brings, if only for that, and especially for people who've been looking to get the clamshell foldy, specifically and especially because they want to be able to use the phone closed. I think this is one of the phones that you should be checking out. At this point, I'm excited to play with these phones more. I've yet to decide because I haven't played with this phone enough or the other flip phone enough. I'm excited to test out this phone more. And of course, at this point, I've yet to see if the cameras have improved on this phone from the previous Z Flip. And considering that from the Z Flip 3 to the Z Flip 4, the cameras did improve even without the hardware upgrade. I'm excited to see just how these cameras perform. Of course, with any flip, I'm excited to test out just how the flip form factor adds on to how we use these cameras. That being said, stay tuned for more content on the Z Flip 5 and even the Z Fold 5. And let me know what type of videos you would want to see me do with this phone. If you want to see a camera vlog test or a social media test, comment down below. That's it for today. If you want to see how I use my tech on a daily basis, find me online. That's ICY BLUE_ on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Until next time.